Now, when you talk about technology, of course, in your industry, major changes like every day, I would imagine. I mean, in the green building technology of homes and...
Yeah, I'd say my email inbox gets packed with new products on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's always got something that's better than
the last one.
And there's, and then they try to tell you why. But I mean, it's the same with everything in our lives. Why is a new iPhone better than the last iPhone?
Because they market it.
Yeah.
Nobody's using any new functionality, right? I mean, at some point in time, that's what I always find to be interesting is at some point in time, you're like, you're not going to take it any farther. Like I got a Samsung Galaxy GS4, whatever you call it. I don't use it any differently than I used the one before. Now it does wackier things. It's faster. But in technology and building and construction, I mean, it's still kind of a newer industry, right? I mean, people are coming out with...
Yeah, they're implementing new uses for product, whether it's using some other form of material for, say, a recycled product, making siding out of rubber tires, or what was
that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, there's some wacky stuff out there that I'm bidding a job right now. It's going to be a pretty interesting project if I get it. But I mean, we're using cork as a exterior part of the exterior facade for the building, and apparently cork is a very good product. You get your insulating value. You also get your waterproofing from it as well, which it's.
And and cork has, been around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you think
is it cork wood? Is it just wood?
Yeah,
is there a cork tree?
Yeah, a cork tree, and I mean, you think your wine bottle doesn't leak,
right?
So,
yeah, interesting. And it slightly breathes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. This project in particular. So, thinking of new innovations for products, potentially bubbles. Like
we're going to need you to elaborate just a hair on that.
So think about like your kids blowing bubbles in the backyard.
Right.
They're looking at the possibility of creating like a greenhouse on a portion of on the south side of the house. And we would have two pieces of basically corrugated plastic. You'd probably see it on like carport roofs, that type of thing, the plastic that you can kind of lets light through. Comes in different colors.
It's usually like kind of nasty and green by the time you see it on top of the carport, or it's broken off real sharp.
Yeah, but the idea is that during the wintertime, you would fill this void between these two pieces of corrugated.
Because it's kind of ribbed.
Yeah, and you'd fill that void with bubbles. Like you would get a bubble machine and blow bubbles into this
almost
wall.
Like a soapy bubble type thing.
Yeah, and the bubbles don't pop, which is amazing. And then when you want it to... So like during the summer, when you want to let the heat out, so in the winter, the idea is that it's trapping the heat in this space, which then heats the house. And then in the summer, when you don't want to get that heat gain, you release the bubbles. And
look how excited you are.
I know. It sounds, the more that the architect and the homeowner were talking about this, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
It's kind of fun, right?
Yeah. And apparently he showed me pictures. There's a greenhouse up in Canada. In the middle of snow, it's this greenhouse, and it's growing.
Oh, actually, a greenhouse, like
greenhouse. Yeah, it's growing tomatoes and lettuce, and in the middle of winter. It's just there's snow all around this thing, and it has bubbles in the walls as an insulating factor. So it's crazy.
And so you start to look at all these new products. And they must come at you from a million ways because everybody's trying to build, the next green product that comes out and people love.
Yeah, everybody's trying to one up. Part of the problem that I've seen is that, things can get kind of stale on the green end, especially when people are trying to push the envelope, but everybody's kind of pushing the envelope to the same. You can only push it so far, but then there's others that are really...
7-pane windows,
yeah,
right?
I haven't seen that yet.
Right, well, they just got to push it a little further.
Yeah.
Paul Kocharhook joins us, owner with Pathway Design and Construction. We are discussing the technology that really comes into building green. What are some other kind of interesting products that you've seen come through?
Maybe some composite decking is interesting. They're trying to do some new things with the decking where they're wrapping it in PVC. So they're taking their actual composite, which has had some issues over the course of time, and then they're putting a wrap on it to protect it. I'm not sure about it, about the longevity of it. Well, time will tell. We'll see. It's, kind of like with everything.
Sure.
We'll see if it stays durable or not. Different types of roofing products as far as, whether they're using recycled materials. Like I talked about rubber tires. There's products out there that are using rubber tires.
Is that the big one? Is it the recycling of a lot of materials rather than inventions of new ones? I mean, because I guess if you're inventing new ones, it's probably chemical based and it's probably not really green.
Right. That's exactly
it's like Monsanto, the way they invent food.
Right. Yeah.
Not to get political, but I kind of want to know what I'm eating. Just to throw that out there.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a big push to try to use product, to reuse product in a different manner. Try to make it more exciting and, I don't know, different.
Yeah. What's the biggest, I guess over the last, say, 5 years, what would you say is one of the products that go into building a home that you've seen the biggest technological advance in?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know about
like water heaters, heat pumps. I know those are two things.
Water heaters, heat pumps. We're seeing a lot of innovation with heat pumps as far as because one of the problems, especially in Seattle, that we have is trying to get a heat pump in a convenient location for the homeowner. There are sound ratings that we have that come into account, so you don't want to disturb your neighbor when your heat pump turns on. So there's been a big push to reduce the amount of sound that those come out. So I mean that's been interesting to watch if you're into that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Solar's been a big. There's been a big push in solar, and there's actually some panels out there that you don't necessarily have to, you can use them as a roof system, and they let light come through. About 10% of the sunlight comes through the panels itself, so you can use it as a cover, say on your porch or something along those lines, and still get the benefit of having somewhat of a clear roof, but also having solar panels.
Interesting. Solar, I don't see a lot of solar panels out here.
I think it's becoming more prevalent because it's becoming more cost effective. We now have manufacturing plants here in the state, which gives homeowners more incentive to want to do it.
Mm-hmm. In our day like today?
Yeah, you still get a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it would, but there different times of the year we're able to get more power out of it. There are some clients that I have that have done solar panels, and they're actually net energy producers so when you calculate out over the entire year, they're actually getting money back from the utility companies.
Really?
Which is awesome.
And that's local houses?
That's local houses, and they're just, these aren't new houses either. These are existing homes that have been retrofitted to take solar.
And so just idea, because that's obviously pretty cool. So the power company pays them?
Yeah, they pay them. They write them a check every month.
The power company?
Yeah.
So they are producing energy for their neighbors, essentially.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of that's pretty cool. So like, if you start looking at that type of project, I guess it's tough to say what it costs. But I mean, what is like a ballpark for that type of thing to never have a power bill again?
Well, you're paying tens of thousands of dollars. And it's not just about doing, say, solar panels. It's about looking at the house as a whole package, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what type of heating system do you have? How much insulation do you have in your walls? If
your air conditioning's on at 45 and you have solar, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way you're going to make it up. And I think for a lot of the homeowners, it becomes a lifestyle choice. It's not necessarily a money-making thing for them. It's more what can they do to give back.
Yeah, and get a few bucks in the process.
Right.
I mean, not spend. I agree. Yes, certainly.
Because you're putting a lot of money out front.
Right.
And your payback will come eventually, but how long down the road?
Sure.
There's a lot of factors that come into play.
I imagine that's a cocktail conversation that when you have people come over and you're like, check this out. Here's PSE. Here's my $12 check I get from them every month. And they're like, how do you do that? And you get to walk around. It's kind of a show-off piece to that.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, I think. You can show off all your systems.
Especially, you get the gadgety guy who comes over and you're going, all right, here. This is where we get our sunlight. Here's where we do this and that. It'd be pretty
Yeah, especially when you think about maybe some of these houses. I know a couple of the ones that we've been involved with, they were actually looking at their power bills compared to their neighbors, and they were at that point in time they were really not comparable. They were using way more energy than their neighbors were, and they just made a few changes, and they're now getting paid.